Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake. Oh my god, I'm about to sneeze. Oh, that was the perfect time.
no.
This is Fleric.
This is Mac.
Oh, we're off to just a banging start.
We sure are.
Thank
Jake.
you, Haru.
I'm going to make sure not to mute myself when the sneeze does show up, but it has gone into dormancy for the moment.
All right. And yeah, that's how apparently we're starting off our Haru recap episode where Terano Fuji has won his third career Yusho. We got a lot to talk about, so I think we're just going to dive right into the results. No BS to start off the episode. Damn it, I lied because I forgot. Look at Fleric's freshly shaven face. He's like a newborn baby.
So is it chilly? Like where you guys are at?
Is it chilly?
It's weird. The top of my face is fine, but
Yeah, it's a little bit cold.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But let's move on for real now to the results of the Basho, where, like I said, Sekiwake East, Terano Fuji, with a 12-3 record, has won his third career Yusho. Our June Yusho winner was somehow Aoyama from Maegashira 12 West. This is his second career June Yusho.
And we have seen both of these. We have bear witness to both of his junior shows during his career.
Very unfortunate for us. Yes.
How is that unfortunate? Yeah. That's great.
Have you not listened to this podcast in my extreme for Aoyama?
Future Yokozuna Aoyama, sir.
I mean, he's closer than he was last Basho now, I guess.
Yes.
But I was going to say Terano Fuji with his third career, that puts him in... Does that put him in second place of every active wrestler?
It sure absolutely does. Because as we will get to in a couple minutes, Kakuryu has retired. But more on that in a second. We got to get to our special prize winners. The Gino Show Technique Prize went to one of my favorites, Wakataka Kage, his first career technique prize. He got a 10-5 record from Maegashira 2. He took down quite a few guys in the Sanyaku ranks, and including putting a little bit of dirt on then Yusho race leader Takayasu.
Shut up.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing for Wakataka Kage in the Gino Show, the Technique Prize, was performing a henka on day 15. This is great. He pulled out all the tricks.
All the tricks.
I love seeing his, like, come on, like, do it. Like his dumb little head nod that he does, like egging somebody on, and then a friggin' henka. Damn. Cold-hearted.
There's one very important piece of information that we have overlooked. Fleric, how will you be referring to me for the entirety of this episode?
Yokozuna Ryan, I should say.
That is correct. Thank you so much, Sukebito Fleric.
Yes, I will do my best.
And you will do excellently, of that I have no doubt, unlike Takayasu in the clutch during a Yusho race.
Oh, just sticking that dagger in and twisting.
It's almost like Jake is getting punished this episode, too. It's fantastic.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.
Man, a few words.
It's the best. I love this.
For the Shukun Show Outstanding Performance Prize, that is going to none other than Terano Fuji, his third career Shukun Show Outstanding Performance Prize. And I forgot to count how many overall prizes he has, but it's quite a few. That makes 9 for him now. The Koto Show Fighting Spirit prizes, we have one going to Maegashira 3 East Meisei, his first career Fighting Spirit prize and first career special prize overall. And at Maegashira 12 West, we have Aoyama. He is getting his fourth career Fighting Spirit prize and his fifth overall special prize. Somehow he has won a Gino Show Technique Prize. Don't know how that's happened.
It's those meat hooks, man. It's those flailing meat hooks. And I'm not talking about his palms.
Oh.
Thank you.
And, of course, that inevitably leads us to Kagayaki, who, once again, remains completely unremarkable in his career, as he got a 6-9 record and therefore did not get a special prize or any other sort of accolade to his name. And so we have been ragging on Kagayaki for quite a while, and it's taken a bit of time, but we have finally gotten a Kagayaki defender. So we have a voicemail that we are going to be playing, shockingly, in defense of Kagayaki.
Hi, GSB. I am a self-identified Kagayaki fan, and I just wanted to call for a few reasons, because one, I think Kagayaki deserves some nice things to be said about him. Two, I really just think you're thinking about Kagayaki all wrong. I mean, every time he steps onto the dohyo, he knows what he's going to do. His opponent knows what he's going to do, and he knows that his opponent knows what he's going to do, but he's going to do it anyway. And I think that that's an admirable quality. I think if you really think about that, it brings this added element to the ring that I think we really need. I think the meme lords in you should appreciate that. This isn't someone who gets up there and just button mashes, panics. He says, I'm going to thrust forward. I'm going to go for the chest. I'm going to duck waddle forward. And by God, I am going to stick to the plan no matter how bad the plan is. And I guess the last reason that I would want to call is, now one of you has had to listen to at least 30 seconds of positive things said about Kagayaki, and the pain that causes you brings me great joy. So thanks for the show. I look forward to your renewed positivity about Kagayaki in the future.
Now, good sir, you put forth some very good arguments. You're just wrong in every sense of the word. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Yes,
They're
we would
entitled to their
counter-
opinions.
We would counter with nuh-uh.
Yes.
So
Everybody's entitled to an opinion, but you're wrong.
But once again, please, everybody, please send us your voicemails. We would love to play them and hear your opinions. We might agree with them sometimes, just not when it comes to defending Kagayaki.
we got a lot more voicemails this tournament than previously, in particular about the Yokozuna retirement scenario. We'll play a handful of those towards the end of the episode, but we love having those, and we love playing them on the show.
Yes.
We also just like hearing other voices other than our own. So, yeah, we enjoy that.
Yeah, ever since we've been doing video, we've been locked in this Zoom conference call for the entirety of the Ba show. Like, I haven't seen my wife and daughter.
Well, you
the
can't
past
hang
2
up
weeks.
a Zoom call. Like,
No.
you lose it then.
Yeah, it's just gone.
You use
All right.
up the Zoom.
Yeah. So we teased this before. It has finally happened. We've been talking about it for probably since the beginning of this podcast. But Kakuryu has finally decided to call it a career. The decision was made easier a couple months ago. He did get his Japanese citizenship, which will allow him to continue on in the JSA now that his career is over. I believe he will be able to use Kakuryu as his elder name for 5 years, and then he'll have to find a permanent one. So for now, he will be Kakuryu Oyakata, I believe part of Michinoku Beya, and I believe he's planning on splitting off to form his own Heya, probably planning to get the Izutsu Oyakata elder name and reopen the Izutsu stable, which was the stable he was a part of for the vast majority of his career before Izutsu Oyakata died within the past couple of years, and he had to transfer over to Michinoku. Just a quick little bit about Kakuryu. He became Yokozuna in May of 2014. He won 6 Yusho, 8 Jun Yusho, 9 special prizes, and very surprisingly to me, no Kinboshi.
Seriously?
Yeah, he must have just done all of his good work in the Sanyaku ranks.
All right.
So that's about all the time we're going to spend on Kakuryu this episode, because we have a lot of other stuff we want to talk about, and we're going to, trust us, we're going to dedicate an entire episode to Kakuryu. This is Well, the second Yokozuna that we have, third Yokozuna.
Third. I was about to say, you forgot Haru Fuji, didn't you?
I absolutely did. This is a third one that we've seen retire, but this is by far the one that we've been able to watch the most in our sumo watching career.
Oh, yeah, we certainly know him better than the other two when they retired. I just wanted to add, you can probably expect that one, unlikely this offseason, but probably the next one, so like June-ish. We just got a lot going on this month already.
Yep. So we want to hear all of your cool memories of Kakuryu inside and outside the dojo. We've seen a lot on Twitter. We want you guys to send us voicemails about your favorite reasons to love Kakuryu. Flaric, we know that Kakuryu was one of your favorites. So what made him one of your favorite, Rikshi?
He was kind of the Yokozuna who was around when the Hakuho kind of went away. He's also like I got a very humble vibe from him. I think some people kind of call him like a Buddha, and like I definitely kind of got that he was very humble, and he was also very, very good. And also like everyone on this podcast like counted him off when he first came back too. I remember that, and like I believed in him, and then he came back with like you show like right in the row.
Yeah, because I think when we first started this podcast, he came off 4 straight missed tournaments, which is, like I was saying, we were probably talking about Kakuryu retiring right from the beginning of this podcast. And then, yeah, like Flaric said, he won back-to-back Yusho in our 3rd and 4th Bashos that we covered. So that makes a lot of sense. And kudos to Jake and Flaric for predicting that he would retire during this Basho. You guys got that one right on the preview epised for whatever that's worth.
Yeah. Feels great.
Does that count as a couple points in the prediction series?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Counts as precisely 2 points, Flaric. So you've now lost by 1 point.
No, I also predicted that. So he didn't catch up to me at all. I was in 3rd place.
True.
Can we make 10 points so like Mac loses?
Ooh.
Hey, no.
Then
I fell on the Shodai grenade, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, it was. He was a good guy. I think the one last thing I want to say is like, they talk about Hinkaku with Yokozuna to be like supposed to be very like humble, I guess very dominant as well. And I think of all the modern crop, well, maybe Kisena Sato, but he retired so soon. Kakuryu kind of was like had the most Hinkaku in my mind, at least of my interpretation of what that means.
I
he'd be very missed.
Agree with that. Yeah. I cannot think of a single bad thing to say about Kakuryu outside of the dojo. I can't think of a single only good thing to say about him. It's like all stellar or above for his like demeanor outside the dojo.
And I mean, like, it's not like his demeanor was bad inside the dojo. It's just that his physical health was really the only problem.
Yes, I agree.
All right. We got to save all that talk for a future podcast. Let's talk a little bit more about Teru no Fuji and just bask in the glow of the most amazing comeback in not only sumo history, but this has to be in the pantheon of all sports, one of the most remarkable comebacks that somebody has ever had, where he was ranked Ozeki. He had a Yusho to his name, and then his knees just stopped existing for a couple of years, and they continue to not exist, but he's found a way to work around it. He dropped all the way down to the almost dregs of sumo and has now made his way back to this Yusho will cement his return to the Ozeki rank. We highlighted his complete drop down and return when he won his second career Yusho in the July 2020 Basho. So you can, if you want to hear that again, go to the recap podcast. But let's just talk about Teru no Fuji and how he did this time. Jake, what did you see from Teru no Fuji this time that led to the Yusho win?
A lot of what we've been seeing since his return, which is like incredibly dominant, horrifyingly fragile sumo.
Yes.
You know, I mean, there were certainly a number of matches where, like, you know, he was able to show off like his match against Aoyama, where, I mean, we joke about how it's a foregone conclusion that Teru no Fuji wins that every time because is it 5-0?
5-0.
But like Aoyama still gave him a hell of a fight. And Teru no Fuji had to show off a lot of skills and stuff like that. But yeah, there was so many times where, if he gets off balanced or if he's like not moving straight forward, like just his movement looks pained, and every time the match is over, he does not look comfortable. And like I'm still super worried that, you know, he's gonna get hurt or his quality of life after sumo is gonna suck. But you certainly can't argue with the results. You know, as long as he doesn't like tweak anything at all, he's the strongest guy out there, which is crazy considering Tochinoshin has had that mantle for so long in our minds, at least. And just incredibly dominant. I really enjoy seeing that, because other than Hakuho, it's been a while since we've seen anybody that's just, you know, shoving people around with obvious superiority like that.
Yeah, and he does have his few blind spots. Like Onosho just inexplicably like beats him every single time over these past few bashos. Something happened. Well, I think what happened against Shima no Umi, he inexplicably lost to Shima no Umi on day 10. But it sounds like what Issei Gahama Oyakata has said, Teruno Fuji's stable master, that Teruno Fuji exacerbated his knee injury on that day, and that he was basically fighting through that knee injury the final 5 days when he took out the other 4 highest ranked Rikshi and Takanosho, Shodai, Asanoyama, and Takakeisho to win the Yusho. So still very much bothered by those knee injuries, but he's able to fight through it and get the job done.
Yeah, just add enough tape. You'll be surprised what they can do.
Yeah. And we've kind of hinted at this a little bit in this episode, but Takayasu seemed like the clear favorite to win this one. He was up by 2 wins after day 10. He ended up tied with Teruno Fuji after day 13. He was 1 behind Teruno Fuji on day 14, and then ultimately lost on day 15. Not that it would have mattered, because Teruno Fuji won on day 15 to secure the Yusho. So a little bit of a comeback for Teruno Fuji on this one to get past Takayasu. So a little bit of a fun ride. Looked like it could have been a boring basho for people who are not absolute Takayasu fans like Jake.
What the hell, man?
Anytime when somebody has like a 2-win lead going to the final days, it's not fun anymore. This one, we at least got to pretend that there could have been a Tomoe Sen 3-way playoff if Teruno Fuji lost on the final day to Takakeisho.
With potentially Aoyama.
And it would have been Aoyama.
Right? That's what I mean. It's like, Aoyama? Where did that come from?
I don't know. I don't know about you, but if Aoyama is like 2 points ahead and just like cruises through the Yusho, that's like the best Yusho of my life.
That's not boring at all.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
For that, Sukebito Fleric, say my name.
Yes, Yokozuna Ryan. Would you like some water?
I would love some water.
Okay.
I'm absolutely parched.
Let me go text your wife.
She will absolutely love that, I'm sure.
Yeah, there is absolutely, though, an element of novelty for novelty's sake is also certainly entertaining. So yes, Aoyama being in this top tier, and like us not even like it didn't even really make sense that, or it wasn't even really noticeable that he was in the top tier until the final days, because he took his 4 losses all very early.
Yeah, he started off 4-4 and then won his last 6.
Just went on a tear.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I mean, it was very strange, because the first 5 days he went 4-1 and looked excellent. Dropped 3 in a row, and then again just decided that he was good at sumo wrestling. Like again, yeah. Just I took a few days off, and now I'm ready to be. It was very strange for sure. But like for novelty's sake, him being up in the top is very. I think it's very fun.
Yeah, Teruno Fuji, I think definitely a sign of like mental fortitude to like just bring it at the end. But you can kind of tell with his matches. Like I think the one where he secured it, when he came to secure day 10, which was his Ozeki promotion, he was ready to go. And like he just like came off the Tachi really hard and fast and just won it decisively.
Is that when he murdered Shodai?
I'll have to look that one up.
That was his murder of Shodai.
I thought it was still someone of lower rank.
His 10th win was Shodai on day 13.
Yeah.
Okay,
there we go.
I definitely have memories of him having a very decisive win and that might have been the one
Yeah.
there.
Yes,
I
he
thought it was-
blew Shodai out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think those last 3 days, knowing that he had all three Ozeki in front of him, the Ozeki that he clearly shows that he is equal to in rank and superior to in current status, like I think that was another motivating factor for him to just, absolutely bring it.
Yeah, definitely. And so Terunofuji will be making his return to Ozeki. He will be the third Rikishi in history to make it back to Ozeki twice, doing it the hard way both times. You've had Takakeisho drop down, regain the rank, Tochinoshin drop down, regain the rank, but they just needed to get 10 wins in one Basho to get it done. Terunofuji had to do it very differently. So the two other guys that have done it did it a while ago, and standards were very different back then. So there is one, Shio no Umi. He did this back in the 1940s and early 1950s, where they didn't even have 15 matches in every Basho at this time. So both of his Ozeki runs started with a losing record.
Oh,
So his first one was like a 3-4 record, then an 8-2 record, and 11-2 record for his first one. His second one was a 4-9 record, and then 2 10-5s to get his Ozeki promotion. It was 2.5 years between his Ozeki promotions, and he only dropped to Maegashira 2 West. And then you had Kaiketsu in March of 1975. His first Ozeki promotion also somehow had a losing record in it.
wow.
He went 7-8, 12-3, 11-4 for his first Ozeki promotion, and then in March of 1977 he went 14-1, and then an 11-4 and 11-4 for his second Ozeki promotion. That was only 2 years between Ozeki promotions, and he only dropped to Maegashira 6 West. So now Terunofuji, his first one, which he secured in July of 2015, he had an 8-7, 13-2, 12-3, and then in May of 2021. He had a 13-2, 11-4, 12-3, almost 6 years between his Ozeki promotions, and he dropped all the way down to Jonidan 48, which is the second lowest division in sumo wrestling. Just absolutely incredible.
The meat grinder.
Yeah, like the people who dropped to Ozeki and then made it back the hard way, they didn't drop all that far, and it didn't take them too long. They didn't miss like 4 or 5 years of their prime not being Ozeki, whereas Terunofuji did. So just makes it even more incredible. So let's move on and talk about some of our other Ozeki in this Basho.
Now we're good. We're good. Move on.
Oh, yeah. Mac is a little upset about Shodai's performance. Had
Really?
Shodai as his champ in the prediction series. Would it have made a difference, Mac? You still would have finished in second place, just a little closer
but
to me
still.
than you were. So Fleric will be very happy to say that Shodai will be Kadoban for the next Basho, as Shodai is actually going to be Kadoban for the second time in his 3 Basho as an Ozeki. So this time it's just due to he didn't look good. He wasn't injured like he was in his first Basho as an Ozeki. He just didn't look like his technique was all there. And as far as I can tell, he's the first Ozeki in the 6 Basho format, which goes back to the 1950s, to be Kadoban twice in his first 3 Basho as an Ozeki. So, Jake, do you think this is just an off Basho for Shodai, or is the real Shodai that we knew and loved from like 2016 to 2019 back? Jake, you're muted.
Sorry, muted myself because Daisy was barking in the background. I don't think there's necessarily any reason to think that like the corner that he turned a year and a half ago, that he just always puts up double digits unless something goes horribly wrong. I don't think there's any reason to think that he's regressed, and he's too young for like him to be slowing down significantly due to age. I have absolutely no idea what caused a 7 and 8 here. The only thing I can think of is that there's an injury that's too minor to be noticeable or something like that, because like it was a lot of his losses are against all the same guys that he built his Ozeki run on. So I don't know what there's nothing obvious here. So I'm curious if maybe something will come out about like, something minor that's been bugging him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about injuries. I know people that know a lot better than us about sumo technique and stuff, especially like Bruce at the Tachi blog, mentioned that he's always had a very bad Tachi, and that he improved that during his Ozeki run and his just overall improvement in his career, and that he's kind of regressed in his Tachi this Basho, where it was a lot softer. He wasn't lifting people up at the Tachi the way he previously had been. So maybe an injury led to that, or just a regression in his technique.
Yeah, wasn't his Heya the one that had the Oyakata who was forced to retire due to the COVID stuff?
Kitsukaze, I think that might be it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's very possible that affected his practice.
That's a good point.
Good point, Flerick.
Yeah.
Very, very good point.
Honestly, yeah, that's a huge thing. If it was the head coach and everything, I think that's probably the big answer right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So considering all that, Mac, do you think that next time Shodai will regain or maintain his Ozeki status?
I think he'll maintain. I don't know if he'll necessarily take the Yusho, because now you've got the Kaiju back in the mix, but I definitely think he'll maintain his Ozeki status.
All right, let's move on to Asanoyama. I would say a disappointing performance from Asanoyama here. He got his 10 wins that he's pretty much guaranteed, but were you encouraged or discouraged by his performances, Basho, Mac?
In looking at who his opponents were and like the techniques that he lost against, Yoitao Oshi, Akuridashi, Oshitao Oshi, I mean, there wasn't a set one that got him. He just didn't look very good. And that's what I can't shake, is he's still got something going on mentally he's still trying to figure something out. I don't know what. The potential's there. The technique is definitely there. He just doesn't look very good, and I can't figure out why.
Yeah, I mean, his first 3 losses against Takayasu, Kiribayama, and Daiesho, he looked absolutely dreadful in those 3 losses. And then, he looked almost dominant in all of his other wins that he had, especially against the lower rankers. And then he had 2 good performances against Takakeisho and Teru no Fuji. But if you're Asanoyama, a person that people still think could be the next Yokozuna, I mean, you've got to beat Takakeisho and Teru no Fuji. He has a losing record against both of those guys.
Against both of them.
He has a losing record against Daiesho, who's another guy that's probably going to be sticking around this level for quite a while. So it seems like he still has an issue with those higher ranked guys. And when he looks bad, he looks really bad and doesn't look anything like an Ozeki.
But I'm still hopeful on that. I still think there's a ray of hope here. He just needs to get it in his head.
I think you said something smart, Yokozuna and Ryan. That is that our expectations for him are Yokozuna. So I think personally, I through the lens of Ozeki, I thought this was probably a pretty good Basho. Like, he won a lot of the ones he was supposed to. He lost to a couple people, but Takayasu was on fire in the beginning of the Basho, so I think that's kind of understandable right there. So it's I think he, as an Ozeki, he did, I think, quite well for that. But as for whether or not he went up to the next tier of Yokozuna, I think I mentioned in previous podcast saying I feel like Teru no Fuji is that wall. Like, once he can start break the wall that is Teru no Fuji, then maybe he can ascend to Yokozuna hood, but he's not there yet.
Once he beats Teru no Fuji, he'll never lose another match.
Mm-hmm.
No, I totally agree with you, Flerick. I think that maybe it's just the fact that we're losing our Yokozuna, that we want somebody to be that next one, and Teru no Fuji is the only guy that looks like he could be at that tier. But Asanoyama is very respectably top tier, like A tier, as opposed to the S tier that we are desperate to have somebody in, right?
Mm.
I think it was perfectly respectable and only disappointing from the lens of that he should be a Yokozuna or should be on his way there right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good frame to look at it, because I think if we're looking at an Ozeki, I think, yeah, you want to see double digits out of them every single time, and not every Ozeki is going to get it up to Yokozuna level. So I think double digits every single time, that's respectable, and I think you probably deserve to be an Ozeki at that point. I think a lot of people's expectations of him are just at a higher level. And so when he gets these records, it just seems worse than, say, Takakesho, who has a 10-5 record, who we're probably going to talk about in a more positive light. With the same exact record, I just don't necessarily think we have as high of expectations for Takakesho. So let's talk about him real quick. He was Katoban coming into this basho. He needed to get 8 wins to maintain his Ozeki rank. He was able to easily clear that. He got a 10-5 record, which kudos to Fleric and I for nailing that prediction on the preview episode. That was a good preview episode. Or first half of the preview episode for you, Fleric. Your predictions in the second half kind of cost you, but you were on fire to start off.
I done messed up. I did all wrong. I take it back.
Yeah. But yeah, Takakesho came back from an absolutely horrid performance in the Hatsubasho. Showed a little bit of that sumo that has won him 2 Yusho. Don't know that I have much more to say or ask about Takakesho. Does anybody have any thoughts about Takakesho this basho?
Did better than Shodai. Well done.
Yeah,
That
he proved that he can come back from injury and get double-digit wins like he has in the past. It's becoming a habit, it seems.
He did get the same record as Aoyama, but he proved to be the best of the Ozeki in this tournament because he beat both Aoyama and Shodai. So I think that's a feather in his cap for sure. I thought it was great how he seemed healthy and his style is. I mean, you can definitely talk crap about how like limited and predictable his style is, but when he's healthy and he's on his game, I really enjoy watching his matches. Just like the separating and like recolliding over and over again, like that kind of match is just really, really fun to see for me. So like, I don't know. I liked seeing him back on his game.
Yeah. So let's drop down, talk about the forgotten Sekiwake, and that is Takanosho. Once again, able to prove some of us wrong. He was able to get a winning record at the Sekiwake rank again. That's I believe the 3rd consecutive basho that Takanosho has gotten a winning record at Sekiwake. So I swear off predicting bad things for Takanosho.
This will be the time, though.
It always is.
He's perfectly set up for this to be the time.
Yeah. I mean, I will point out that he did have a 1-4 record against the other Sanyaku Rikishi. So I think that kind of proves why we are kind of always hemming and hawing, like, can he stay here? Because it seems like he's definitely a step below some of the other Sanyaku Rikishi. I think the only one he was able to beat was Mitake Yumi, and I mean, it's Mitake Yumi, so.
I just love the disdain that Ryan has for it. It's like, oh, it's Mitake Yumi.
I mean, what are you going to do with the guy at this point? If he was going to do something, he's had his chances. I'm done with Mitake Yumi.
He's
2
got
Yusho
2
winning
Yushos, dude.
I was about to say, you're forgetting the facts here, Ryan.
He's tied for like the most Yusho out of anyone not Ozeki in history.
Yeah, I think we found the next Goedo for Ryan.
Yep, I think so. Though, and we've hinted at that at some other episodes. I think we have found Ryan's new Goedo. His name, Mitake Yumi.
I can be talked into this. I mean, yeah, I know he has 2 Yusho, but he had 2 Yusho back in like 2019 and 2018. It's 2021 now. If you had Yushos back then, you should be doing better than 8-7, 7-8, 9-6, and 8-7 in your last 4 basho. You should be an Ozeki at this point. You're just farting around, not getting crap done, and I don't stand for that. That's not who I am. Don't fart around. Get stuff done.
That's stupid, but it's just as good as any other reason we have to dislike people.
I was about to say, all right.
Let's have at it.
We hate Kagayaki because one person told us he walks like a duck one time, and then all of a sudden we all hate Kagayaki. So.
Well, now we paid attention to it, and we're like, oh my God, he totally does.
Exactly. It's like we started watching.
All right. Jake, I apologize.
Just twist the knife, buddy. Just do it.
We're going to talk a little bit more about Takayasu. So, as mentioned, Takayasu started off the basho, ended up at a 9-1 record after day 10. to lead the pack by 2 matches, and he followed that up with a 1-4 performance in the final 5 days to absolutely piss the tournament down his leg. We got a couple of statistics from @sumo_follower on Twitter. She is saying that since the Heisei era, the one that ended right before the Reiwa era, which we are currently in, began, 26 Rikishi were ahead by 2 wins after day 10. 24 of those 26 won the Yusho. 1 dropped out due to injury, which was Hakuho and Hatsu of 2019, a.k.a. the inexplicable Tamawashi Yusho. And then there's Takayasu.
Yep.
Yeah. A little
Congratulations. You're a statistic now, Takayasu.
Classic.
Little bit of solace for you here, Jake. Goedo, when he blew Aki of 2017, he had a 1-match lead after day 10, but he did have a 2-match lead after day 11. So
which is worse.
Which is worse. So we could bring it back around. I can hate on Goedo again for absolutely blowing Aki 2017. It just, all the hate is coming around, and I love it. I live for it. So yeah, Jake, what was it like to be Sumo Podcasting's forefront Takayasu fan watching the final 5 days? Take us through every agonizing step. Relive the memories for us.
You're mean.
I can do this in 2
mean.
No. I can do this in 2 sentences. Ryan, who's your favorite football team? Because it's like that.
The Minnesota Vikings, yeah.
Because it's like that. Which honestly kind of means that it's like familiar.
Yeah.
Expected.
You felt at home in the Takayasu losses.
Honestly, the first loss he took after that day 10 stat was tweeted, it was like, yep. Yeah. This is an ACL being torn in the playoffs in the Vikings history or something like that.
This is Gary Anderson missing the field goal in 1998.
Yep.
No, now I feel pain too, and I'm sad as well. So
hey, all right, that does make me feel better.
Good job, Jake. Flair can make me feel better.
Your beard is stashing, Yokozuna Ryan.
Your GD right, it is.
I don't think the compliment part of that was even part of his requirement here.
I don't think so either. He just said, make me feel good.
He was just feeling down. I need to be a good Sukebito, so I need to anticipate the needs of my Yokozuna.
Text my wife, that way give me a back rub.
I'm not sure if I want to tempt fire that much.
I was about to say, Gabby might come over there.
Yeah. But of course, you're going to teach me the secrets to become Yokozuna myself after doing this, right? Like the secret techniques to learn how to wrestle.
Yeah, don't let Teruno Fuji drop to the last pick of the champ selection.
I am super regretting that, by the way.
Honestly, though, I don't regret it in the sense that I don't think it was a bad decision, because I just don't trust
glass cannon.
I just don't trust him to stay healthy 15 matches every time. Mm-hmm. And like that little voice that says someday he will be injured again is like, it's too
very loud.
It's
very loud.
It gets louder as the tournament goes on, for sure. But like,
oh yeah, like he was injured again in this tournament. He just fought through it.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be shocked at all if he is Katoban after the next Basho.
Yeah, he was Katoban a buttload back when he was like. He was dropping down real hard by the time we started our podcast, but the year, maybe year and a half we were watching before we, that we were just watching before we started the show. Mm-hmm. He was Katoban like every single time. It was crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking up right now. We have like a 9-6, like 3-12, 8-7, 2-13, 8-7, 4-11, 8-7, 4-11, and then like Jinyusho. But yeah.
It's 100% health for him. Like, he's just like the stereotype, the cliche, well, if he's healthy, he'll do well. But he's that cliche dialed up to 11 for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about our last Sanyaku Rikishi. That is Daiesho. He didn't manage to quite stick it to the Banzai committee like we were all hoping he would, but he did scrape by a day 15 Kachikoshi after an 0-4 start, which means he went 8-3 for the rest of the tournament. He did pick up wins against Ozeki, Asanoyama, and Shodai. I believe he did lose to Teruno Fuji. Yeah. So yeah, he picked up some good wins. And an interesting statistic about Daiesho in this basho, he became the first Yusho winner since Takakeisho in November of 2018 to either not have a losing record or not pull out of the next basho due to injury. So the first time in 3 years that the defending Yusho champion was in all 15 days of the next tournament and managed a winning record.
That's like 14 or 15 tournaments.
Yeah, that just shows how incredibly, how much parity there is in sumo right now. That clearly there is no dominating force, which we have talked about quite a bit.
There was one dominating force that we did see opening day, and it happened to arrive on Daiesho's face, which I thought at that point was just going to set the tone for the rest of the tournament for him. But when Hakuho opened up with that massive slap, I thought, and Daiesho's done.
I was going to try and I was going to toss out that I think you missed one, Ryan, but you mentioned that Teruno Fuji followed up his previous Yusho with an 8-win, but after that 8 wins, he pulled out of the tournament. That's
yeah,
right.
and I think there's 1 or 2 Hakuho wins where he did manage like a winning record, but then he like pulled out or something like that.
Yeah. So certainly no, let's see, the last time anybody got consecutive Yushos is Kakuryu in 2018. So like that's, if you're on Sumo DB and you just see like the top, whatever shows up on your screen once, it's like a complete smorgasbord of like different names. Then you like scroll down one screen and we're back into like just Hakuho. It's a very strange place to be.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about some of the rank and filers that we haven't had a chance to talk about before. Who do you guys want to shine the spotlight on a little bit?
I have a couple quick hits I want to talk about, mostly because Hokuto Fuji, he did quite well, and I read somewhere that he recently became a dad, so that's pretty cool. Power to that guy right there. And the other thing is for Akiseyama, this has to actually do the commentator, Ross Mihara, on the English stream. He described Akiseyama as fleshy. And I thought that was super accurate.
He's very skinny, as in he has a lot of skin.
There's just a lot of the skin.
It's a lot of flesh.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, go ahead.
I would shout out Hoshoryu for being pound for pound the most exciting guy in this tournament by far. Almost every single day I wrote down his match as one of the more notable, exciting, fun ones.
You will see that reflected in the match of the Basho candidates that we have coming up.
Yes. There was one, who was it? I think it was over Kagayaki maybe, but he just did like textbook inside trip judo move. Like they're belt to belt, and he just kind of like they're tied up for a moment, and then just like doop, he just like does a little trip and goes down flat on his back.
Yeah, that was a Uchigake against Kagayaki on day 13. It looks like
day 13. Thank you. Yeah, that one was just beautiful. I'm a fan of like the pure obvious judo type moves like that. My wife actually did judo for a number of years, so I always love when I have a match where I'm like, Katie, come here, tell me what this move is called.
I'm gonna hit Tobizaru real quick. 10-5. Way to go, dude.
Yeah, him and his brother Hide no Umi both going 10-5. Shout out to Hide no Umi, his first career winning record in the Makuuchi division, and he looked really good.
Convincing.
Yeah,
at 31. It's a very Tokushoryu-ish type of performance at past your prime. Obviously not as significantly, but still.
Yeah, I mean, same with Akiseyama. Dude's 35, and he just barely missed Kachikoshi by very meanly being put up against Daiesho on day 15.
He cost me my jelly. I'm mad he cost me my jelly.
Were they? I suppose they were just like trying real hard, even if they had to stretch all the way across the ranks. They wanted the 7-7 matchups, right?
Yeah, but it's weird with Aki Sayama. Like, he came up to Makuuchi, and I was like, "Oh, this guy! I don't want to have to watch this guy. Look at him; he's so fleshy." But like,
It's just a great word.
he's so there's just something about his fleshiness that's so endearing to me, and I just kind of I don't really get happy for sumo wrestlers. Like, I don't care. Just like, be good at sumo and I'll like who I like. But like, I'm happy for Aki Sayama doing this good at 35 years old. Like, he's endearing, and I want him to have this like late career surge. I don't want him to win a Yusho.
I was about to say, where was this love with Tokushoryu? Where was this genuine happiness with Tokushoryu?
He took it too far.
He did too well.
We are in the stage of sumo where Kakaryu is retired. Hakuho's going to be gone after July. Like, he said that's his make or break one. I'm pretty sure even if he gets a winning record and could continue, I'm pretty sure he's going to call it quits after July. We need to find the next Yokozuna. We need to find the next people that are going to be the dominating forces for the next 5 to 10 years. And Aki Sayama Yusho 1, it doesn't, obviously is not a step forward for anybody who's going to take that next step, but it just shows you how far away we are from that next step being achieved or from seeing who the next top people are. If Aki Sayama can win a Yusho, that means there's nobody that's about to take that next step.
That just means the field's wide open. That means anything can happen.
I don't want the field to be wide open.
That's exactly what we're saying we don't want. Yeah, we want there to be.
You guys don't get it.
No, I think I'm with you, Mac. I kind of like nice wide open. Like, just like I said with Tokushoryu when he won, it's fantastic.
Exactly.
If Aki Sayama wins, I'm gonna have a huge smile on my face.
Right.
If anybody can win a Yusho, it's not as exciting when anybody does win a Yusho. If one or two people are capable of winning a Yusho, like if it's Hakuho and the other Ozeki and Yokozuna for 5 years, then when Tokushoryu does win a Yusho, it's so much more momentous.
So let it be known that Ryan will not care if Hokuto Fuji ever wins a Yusho.
That is 100% different than what he said there, though.
No, I know.
We're talking, we want something that advances the narrative is what me and Ryan are getting at, which I imagine is not coincidentally because we are both the two biggest pro wrestling fans out of the four of us. Like, what 5 and 10, Maegashira 6, Tamawashi has a Yusho to his name. What did that get us? Where did that bring us? Like, what advanced? Like, it was just like, okay, I guess that happened, and then we just move on. It didn't like advance the story of like this is the next guy, or
it
this
advanced
is something
the
special.
Story that the quality of sumo right now isn't that great.
Yeah, so like, I mean,
Isn't that great?
If that was
thank you, Flerick.
if that was a special, if that was like, like Tokushoryu's was kind of like that because it's sandwiched between two Hakuho Yusho, that that made it a little bit more special because it was that big of a surprise. It had its own narrative to it. But like, yeah, I mean, I want guys near the top to win, and I want guys to surprise me a little bit here and there. But like, the surprise is more meaningful when it's less expected. Ryan got the water.
My wife just brought me some water. Thank you, Tsukebito Flerick.
I got you, Yokozuna Ryan.
Cannot believe that worked. But no, that my point stands though. Like, an unexpected guy that's young and could like deliver more, that's different than like Aki Sayama.
Yeah, just to Flerick, go ahead and then I'll have my final point.
Yeah, I think just to kind of push back that it doesn't advance the narrative, or those like maybe no narrative, maybe that's not fair, but it's a narrative. Like when there's so much parody that no one yet has stepped up, it's just kind of like a continuation of the dynasty of like this. No one's yet there. Like everyone's still trying to figure stuff out. And also byproduct of it is lots of just very close Yushos, which I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah, so. It is advancing a narrative. It's just not advancing a narrative I want to see advanced.
That's fair.
Yeah. And my thing is, I'm okay with watching. I like watching dominance. I don't have an issue I don't have a big issue with like the New England Patriots when they won 6 Super Bowls. I like watching.
Now you've gone
dominance.
too far.
But I'm also all about. I want the highs to be the highest they can, and a Tokushoryu Yusho in the middle of a sea of Hakuho Yushos is just that much more special than when it's in the sea of Tamawashi and Mitake Yumi Yushos.
Yeah, because like, and I know I said earlier that like novelty for novelty's sake can be fun, but again, I think it's
not a novelty anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's see, what would be like an equivalently boring guy to win next time around? Like, let's say,
Miyogiryu is always the guy that I think of.
Yeah, he's got to be the guy that I have yet to have any interaction with a person that has strong feelings on Miyogiryu, positive or negative. Like, just, I'm not sure I've seen him mentioned on Sumo Twitter ever. But like, somebody like that winning, or Okinoumi, or there's like a number of guys that just like, what do we gain here? Like, it's not surprising enough because it's somebody that's got a story behind them already. It's, I don't know. I appreciate dominance to the extent that it can make the surprises more surprising. And if it's not really novelty anymore, if everything is a crapshoot every time.
Yeah. All right. So we just spent a lot more time discussing narratives of sumo that we want to see pushed forward in future Yusho wins. So let's go through Juryo a lot quicker than we usually, or the lower divisions a lot quicker than we usually do. Juryo Yusho went to Haku Yozan, his first career Juryo Yusho. Makushita went to Abi, his first basho back from his suspension. Sandanme went to Koma no Kuni, his first career Sandanme Yusho. Jonidan went to Atami Fuji, his first career Jonidan Yusho, and his second career basho overall. Jake?
Real quick, Atami Fuji, search for him on Twitter. There's an adorable picture of him doing Sukebito duties, noticing that he's on camera, and then just like the biggest, rosiest, silliest smile behind his mask.
Adorable.
It's just this funny series of photos.
He's Teruno Fuji's awesome. Sukebito, correct?
I believe so. We're getting a Robo Ryan.
Yep.
Oh no. Got to plug in that router or whatever.
Restart that router.
Got to clean out them tubes, them internet tubes.
Ooh, he's roboting hard.
I think he's just concentrating, actually.
Battery's gone now.
Well, you can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Grand Sumo Breakdown. All right, he just left for me.
Go on without me.
Go on without me. Okay. All right, I'll take it from here. If you like our show, you can leave us a 5-star review. Our Jono Kuchi winner was Murayama, first career Yusho, 18 years old, first basho, and he's in Naruto stable with Tochinoshin and Aoyama. Juryo itself, just a brief note on the Yusho race, because it was really cool at the point of our midway episode, because we had Chiyomaru, Ura, and Enho all tied for the lead, and it was like all the biggest crowd pleasers are at the top, and then it just kind of devolved into 2 other guys by the end of the tournament. Yeah. So
as Juryo does.
Yeah, I know Ura.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I know Ura had to step out for a couple of days for like a calf injury, but then he decided like, who needs a calf, and he came back in.
He's another glass cannon, except for instead of like power being his cannon form like Teruno Fuji, it's just like flexibility, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, he's also super injury prone, and it sucks because he's so fun to watch. But yeah, Haku Yozan and Takagenji were the guys on the final day that had a chance to take it, which is weird that like all 3 of the front runners kind of dropped out. But Enho is probably going to be in Juryo next basho. He's probably not going to bump up to the next division. Ishiura might, Aqua might, but probably not a huge number of guys flipping divisions this time around. Tomokaze is making his return, his first basho back from the injury where his leg absolutely blew up. He went 6-1 in Jonidan, so he's staying on pace to keep moving up. And it looks like we get Ryan back just in time to talk about Hibikiryu. Maybe. There he is.
We just popped up
we're
on my
working on
screen. There we go.
Yes, the pleasures of working with Zoom.
I am back. Did we continue podcasting, or do we need to start back up now?
Yep. We
No,
got
we're-
all the way to the shoutouts to social media, and we're good to go.
We're actually just about to talk about Hibikiryu.
Okay.
I will say we're not going to spend much time on it right now because we are going to be doing a bonus episode later this off season. We're actually asking around, doing some research, might have some special guests on that one, just other people that might know a little bit more about different types of injuries and different injuries that have happened in sumo in the past that might add some more context. But the short version, if you didn't hear about this one, on day 13, Hibikiryu lost his match by, the classic sumo, like both guys are trying to throw each other kind of move, and we both are tipping over. But then just as a freak accident here, the way that Hibikiryu landed, he apparently lost feeling below his neck. And as of this recording, which is Tuesday, after the Basho, so maybe by the time this is released, there will be more. We haven't heard that anything has gotten better for him. And I say freak accident. I'm not saying that it's impossible that this could have been prevented with some measures or other, but it was the type of injury where nothing out of the ordinary for the match itself happened. It was just kind of the way it landed. And then obviously what we want to talk about is what happened after he landed.
Yeah, the uproar about this match isn't that the injury occurred, it's the response to the injury. These freak accidents are going to happen in this kind of sport. That's just going to happen. What you can control is the response. And so when we get to that bonus episode, we will talk about how dreadful that response was and some things we are going to try to do to make our voices heard at the very least. And hopefully some change will come of it, but we understand that it's probably just going to be a bunch of Americans shouting into the wind, and the JSA probably won't hear or care. Mostly won't care. But yeah.
The short version, if you are out of the loop on it, was he was conscious, but like we said, he was unable to have feeling or movement below the neck. And they just let him lie there.
Yeah, he just laid there.
Yeah, like they did it, just like previous injuries where like everybody just like puts their hands up, like I had no idea injury could happen in sumo, and that you just lack of compassion, lack of urgency in treatment. But yeah, we'll get into that much deeper soon.
Yep. So let's move on to a news item regarding our now sole Yokozuna. The Yokozuna Deliberation Council has given Hakuho a repeat warning and will give its final decision after the July Basho. So the chairman of the Yokozuna Deliberation Council, Chairman Yano, is quoted as saying, "There were harsher opinions, but we decided to continue with the warning for now. There were three reasons for this. One, the Kyujo in January was due to COVID. Two, although participating only 2 days, he showed will to participate in Haru. And three, we ensured via Chairman Hakaku that Hakuho intends to make July his make or break Basho." So basically, the YDC is saying, Hakuho is already saying, my next one is make or break. We're not going to force him into anything sooner than that. So Hakuho will not be forced into retirement before July. It sounds like it is a foregone conclusion. He will not participate in the next Basho, and that July could be the final stand for Hakuho. But that being said, we are going to take a quick break, and we'll get back with the results of our prediction series. We'll go over some of the bold predictions and give out the GSB. All right, we are back. And Jake, why don't you tell us where the GSB belt currently resides?
Yeah, it's weird as hell.
What?
So at the cutoff, at the halfway, Daiesho had he was the belt holder. Last tournament, it ended up on Hokuto Fuji. And let's see. So I just want to make sure that I'm getting the rankings right, because we're trying to follow this all the way up to the top. So at the end of last tournament, it ended up on Hokuto Fuji at Maegashira 1, but he had a 7-8 record, so it technically started off the next basho one rank lower. So it started off this basho at Maegashira 2, where Hokuto Fuji landed. However, he lost immediately to Teruno Fuji. It passed over to Onosho, Takanosho, and then Daiesho had it for his mid basho streak. He lost it to Wakataka Kage. So yeah, we're still in the joy, makes sense. Our belt is still towards the top of the rankings. However, on day 14, things went awry when Maegashira 12 Aoyama won and maintained the belt on day 15.
Oh no.
So our belt went down 10 ranks this tournament. On the plus side, an 11-4 record from Aoyama is going to bring it up closer to that Maegashira 2. Probably not all the way. Depends on the Bansuke, but
it'll ultimately be a drop of 1 rank. Aoyama is pretty much locked in to be Maegashira 3.
Gotcha. Okay. So still not what I wanted, but less bad than it could have been. It was kind of upsetting to be like, son of 12? Yeah, but yeah, at least he's on his way up. At least it wasn't like Daiesho going 7-7 or something and dropping it to Akiseyama on day 15 or something. That would have been like a worst case scenario type of thing. Dropping it all the way down to somebody who's not moving up the rankings hard. But whatever. So the belt lives another basho. We'll see if it can get up to Ozeki or Yokozuna. Well, not Yokozuna, obviously. But see if it can get up to Ozeki next tournament.
All right, so let's move on and talk about the prediction series. And my God, did I absolutely wipe the floor with the three of you. My team of Teruno Fuji and Shimano Umi brought me a combined 35 points, and the next highest point scorer was Mac with 19. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
It's not often that we actually manage to pick the guy that wins the basho. So
I know.
Yeah.
We're pretty pathetic that way.
Teruno Fuji literally got me at least 10 points on the final day.
Yes.
Just with the Yusho is a win and a win over another person's champ. Ended up with a 10-point day for Teruno Fuji.
Yeah. And you got the Yusho and a special prize too.
Yep.
My goodness. Yeah, I am not happy. I am very sad. I felt good about the fire and the determination I saw on the Teruno Fuji. And oh, by the way, shout out to the person who apparently called Takakeisha Rotund. I will add that too. The rotundness that was Takakeisha.
The round horse.
Yeah. But as I alluded to before, Meisei just did amazing this basho, which was terrible for me. And so that pretty much kind of put the nail in my coffin when he got that special prize.
All right. So now we got to call Takakeisho. Here we go. Umamaru, round horse.
Umamaru.
I like it.
Or Uma no Maru. Uma no Maru would be circle of horse.
There we go. Uma no Maru.
Once he becomes Yokozuna, we can petition to he changes Shikona to that.
We'll send him a letter.
Yeah.
Yes, we are JSA West. So
yeah, right, exactly.
We have a recommendation.
As the American Yokozuna Deliberation Council, we are recommending a change of Shikona.
All right, and so now it is time for our punishment, right, Tsukebito Fleric?
Yes, it would be, other than scheduling has been terrible for this week, in that I'm busy at the beginning of it and Jake is busy at the end of it. Therefore, fortunately, the punishment has have to be pushed back until it sounds like the preview of the next basho.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We want to keep it on the mainline episode, so we'll push it back a couple of months for the preview.
Exactly. I'm sorry, but I also think that you did will this into existence, and therefore you actually injured Hakuho, and you guys suck.
It's our fault.
You should feel bad.
I don't. So, yeah, we will not have Fleric singing for you on the recap episode, unfortunately, but when it finally does happen, well, it's going to be good. So
it better be.
Yeah. So, Mac, I had challenged you to sing a song. Do you have something prepared, or do we need to push that? as well.
Do you really want me to do the full Darude Sandstorm?
Oh,
I don't
God,
want you to
no.
do the full.
No, please
Darude
no.
Sandstorm.
I have individual lyrics. I have individual stuff ready to go.
My
You
lyrics
have
is
no
like
idea
sumo,
the number
sumo,
of
sumo.
pages. I had fun doing this one. No.
I feel like
Sumo,
Mac
sumo.
takes our sarcasm as like a challenge.
Well,
One,
duh.
I was never being sarcastic about him performing Darude Sandstorm.
I knew you weren't.
All right, so it sounds like no singing on this episode, which we promised the people. They'll get it on the preview. Flaric will deliver. Flaric, how about a small mini punishment of just saying nice things about your Yokozuna?
Oh, nice. Thanks. No, this is awful.
He'd rather do the song.
Yeah. You're sounding less roboty, Yokozuna Ryan.
Good. I'm getting a very long Ethernet cable so that I can get direct access into the internet pipeline for
De-robotization, perhaps.
Yeah.
That is a very wise technique, Yokozuna Ryan. I am amazed by the skill that you have.
Is this your doing, Flaric?
No, it was not.
Whoa.
Because you're not my Yokozuna. Screw it.
I guess that was just my Sukebito.
For those without the video, apparently a glass of water showed up for Jake, which we can only assume was his Sukebito wife. His words, not mine.
Wow.
Yes, that is how she refers to herself as well. Yes.
The Sukebito wife.
God, I am absolutely a Sukebito in this household, aren't I?
I'm pretty sure we're probably all Sukebitos in our household.
Yeah.
To our pets.
Yeah, well,
I don't have pets.
I am not waking up at 4:30 every morning voluntarily. I can tell you that much.
The real Yokozuna, the Riley.
No, it's
summons you.
it's Yokozuna Piper. Riley gets up between
it's Yokozuna Piper.
yeah. Riley's the one that gets up between 5:30 and 6. We can usually ignore her until my alarm goes off at 6.
You ignore your baby, but have to get up for the dog.
She's not
It's the cats
crying.
in our house.
She's not crying. She's just making baba goo goo sounds. So she's happy and content. She can lay there until I want to roll out of bed.
You should hear the scream noise that Kif makes.
You should hear the scream noise that my daughter has decided to start making ever since Sunday. My God, she won't stop.
Well,
Happy,
that's at least
angry, hungry, scream, scream, scream.
Well, I guess what I'm saying here is that's at least a human noise.
No, it's not.
Oh man, I hope you never have to experience Kif when he is like hungry, because yeah, it's on the order of a crying baby in terms of like visceral unpleasantness. Like it's uncomfortable.
Okay, that's enough talk about our dependents / superiors in life. Let's move on to the bold predictions from our fans. First off, we're going to start with Constanza Ozario, who said that Teruno Fuji would win the Yusho and make the biggest comeback by regaining his Ozeki position. We also had Mark B predicting that Teruno Fuji would complete his Ozeki comeback. Felix Fisher said that Abi will not be expelled from the Kyokai in this Basho. Not yet. It will happen, but not this Basho.
Just you wait.
So we'll have to circle back around to that one once Abi gets suspended again from sumo wrestling. Because he's been suspended once, but he's also caused the suspension of all social media for Rikshi. So there's bound to be something else that Abi does that ends his career. Shout out to poor Sunlan Satori. Every single Basho they predict a Takayasu Yusho. I really thought this was finally going to be the one.
The son of a bitch.
You jinxed it.
I really thought this was going to be the one where I'm going to be like, hey, Sunlan Satori,
You did
Takayasu
it.
won. You got it right. No,
Not today.
You're a Vikings fan now.
Oh, something I want to point out. I do feel really good when I said on the Midway episode, reinforcing that Takayasu's never won more than 12 matches in his career, and he just went and proved me right. So once again, sorry, Jake. I'm happy with this basho and you're not, so I'm still going to rub that in as much as I can.
It's your duty.
It is. A weird trend that I noticed. So for our Hatsu bold predictions, 13 people predicted Kakuryu to go Intai and retire. This time we had 3 people predict a Kakuryu Yusho, and no one predicted him to retire. And this is when he retired. Well,
Wow.
Sorry. Fleric and Jake did predict him to retire, but none of our fans did. And then there's this.
I'm sorry, real quick. That's why we're the professionals.
You're GD right. That's why they're listening to us and we're not listening to their sumo podcast.
Yeah.
So from Patricia Dobashi, she predicted that Ura would win the Juryo Championship. All Japan goes nuts. Huge parade in Osaka. He meets and becomes engaged to the mayor's daughter. Emperor declares a national holiday on which everyone must wear pink. Hakuho weeps and initiates adoption papers, making Ura his heir.
That's so sweet.
I'd read that fanfic.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, Ura didn't win the Juryo Championship, but he showed guts by injuring his, I think it was his calf muscle, pulling out for a day or two, then coming back and winning 4 out of his final 5 matches to get to 10 wins. Either guts or stupidity, but either way, I'm sure it was enough to bring a tear to Hakuho's eye, but maybe not quite enough for the adoption papers to go through.
If he hasn't adopted Enho yet, when will he adopt Ura?
When Enho
Classic.
gets more than 10 wins in a basho.
Classic Ura, though, to like, push through and have like an entirely new injury. And it like just put on the pile.
All right, so let's move on to the Grand Sumo Breakdown Awards. And a lot of people are going to be collecting the Tawara Magician Award because the first few days of this basho, people absolutely did not want to get pushed off the dohyo. You could see it in the Tamawashi Oki no Umi match. Both of those guys were doing everything they can to keep their feet in. On day 4, Enho, probably my favorite save at the edge of the Tawara was Enho down in Juryo on day 4, where I think, did he grab the guy's head and pull himself back into the ring and throw the
That
other guy
sounds
out
right.
simultaneously?
Yeah.
I love that one. And then Takayasu, I don't remember exactly what it was, but he did some magical feat on day 4 to earn himself a mention in the Tawara Magicians. And then the other award that I'm giving out, I'm done handing this award out every single basho. So to Terano Fuji, he gets a Lifetime Achievement Award in Strong Boy-ing. In particular for his
Great name, Yokozuna.
Yes, well done there.
in particular, he earned this Lifetime Achievement Award because of the Tsuridashi against Kiribayama on day 6, just adding on to the legacy of Strong Boy-ing that Terano Fuji has. So
It
no
looks
longer
better
have
on
to,
paper.
It really does, because really it just sounds like Strong Boing.
Strong going.
Yeah.
No, it reads.
He also got another Kime Dashi with like the double overhook lift out move. And he got a handful of Yorikiris that could have been called Kime Dashis, if I recall. Just
They were close.
it's that move where he doesn't have to bend over very far, and he's like, yes.
Yeah.
The award that I have to give is the Spread the Love Award. In a time where we all need a helping hand, Kaisei is there. So like a good neighbor that just kicked you out of the ring, Kaisei is there. With a smile and a hand, get you back in the ring so you can bow.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite Twitter exchange from this whole basho was somebody tweeted about that, and I replied with a picture it's that one picture of Kaisei holding a baby. And somebody replies, "Don't show this to Sumo Kaboom, otherwise they will be even more horny for Sumo." And sure enough, like Beetlejuice, they appear.
Next award I wanted to hand out is the Snorlax Award, given for the longest matches of the tournament where both opponents might be asleep. And when you analyze both of them, it goes to Takayasu. In both of those matches, it looks like either he or his opponent falls asleep mid-match with mixed results for Takayasu.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. We talked about like the cardio. Who was it? Was it Takakeisho and Takayasu? We were talking about their respective cardio, and then they like both end up in a 3-minute Takakeisho match, despite us saying that could never happen.
Just stuck there.
Yeah.
I do want to give credit. That was at Sandre the Giant on Twitter who brought up Kaisei and just said, "Is it just me, or is Kaisei just the nicest dude in sumo on the dojo?"
Thank you for bringing that up. I had already
Yes,
moved
definitely.
on with my
Thank
life.
you.
And our final award is the match of the Basho. We've got quite a few nominees this time. Mac really enjoyed the Aoyama versus Koto Shoho match on day 2.
It's just glorious.
Where Aoyama just absolutely destroyed Koto Shoho and sent him on the sidelines for the next 10 days. On that same day, Hoshoryu versus Ryuden, a nice back and forth belt battle. On day 7, Hoshoryu versus Aoyama, a battle of different strengths. One guy going for the belt, the other guy desperately trying to keep him off of his belt.
Oh God, why?
No. Aoyama did plenty of grappling technique on his own, which is why I put it on this list as a nominee. We talked about it a bit more on the midway as well, but it was uncharacteristically well-rounded for Aoyama, and Hoshoryu's Hoshoryu, so it was just a very exciting match.
Day 13, you had Takayasu versus Wakataka Kage, another back and forth match where both guys were about to step off the clay, but eventually winning by a hair was Wakataka Kage. Sorry, Jake.
It was one of several matches at the end where Takayasu lost like by his leg hair, basically.
Yeah, we could have done this. We could have put his day 14 match against Tobi Zaru on here, where once again Takayasu just barely lost to cost him the Yusho. 2 days in a row for that to happen, Jake. Just how did that feel? Yeah, I know.
Why, Ryan? Why?
Because I'm a dick. How long have you known me?
My day will come. My day will come when Hokuto Fuji blows it at the end or something like that.
Implying Hokuto Fuji's ever going to be in position to win a Yusho. That's what you got to do. You got to make your favorites the people who never have a chance to win. Therefore, your heart can never be broken.
You don't let anyone in so you can't be hurt.
That's right.
Just wait till he drops down to like mid Magashira because of an injury or something like that, and then he'll get close until the last day.
Yeah. Another nominee, Teruno Fuji versus Asanoyama on day 14. Probably the best showing that Asanoyama has ever had against Teruno Fuji.
He's getting better.
He's getting better. In about 2 to 3 years, he'll finally get over the hump and beat Teruno Fuji. It'll probably be a Fusen win, is what it'll be.
0-17, and then finally he gets it.
Yeah. And then our final nominee and the winner, Hoshoryu versus Hide no Umi on day 15. Wonderful back and forth battle. They were both desperately trying to throw each other. They both got really close to throwing each other several times. Hoshoryu went for an awesome leg sweep that Hide no Umi was able to block, and then eventually Hide no Umi was able to toss aside Hoshoryu. And so that will be our match of the Basho for Haru. And then, honorable mention to just every other Hoshoryu match, really. He's really fun to watch.
He was just so entertaining.
It was kind of weird. Like, he's always been kind of fun, but like, I'd say like above average fun excitingness. But this Basho, he just knocked it out of the park every match.
Yep.
That judo one I mentioned earlier wasn't necessarily a great match, but it was an excellent Kimarite. But just like the whole time, Hoshoryu he was filling in for Enho this Basho.
Yeah, and I was actually really excited that he lost that final day match because I was like, oh, sweet. He's Maegashira 9. He only had an 8-7 record. He's only going to move up a couple of ranks so that he's still facing kind of lesser competition. No,
Time to develop.
This Bonsuke's effed. He's going up to Maegashira 5. So he should still be avoiding most of the Sanyaku ranks, but it'll definitely be another step up in competition. Hopefully he can keep his sumo game ramping up to stay pace with that competition. And so why doesn't everybody say their favorite moment of the Basho? We'll start with Jake here.
I'm going to say the next Basho is my favorite part of this Basho.
Fair enough. What about
honestly?
you, Claire?
Okay, I do have a legitimate answer, and that it ties into my least favorite moment of the Basho. But Hibikiryu's injury, the unanimous and vocal outrage that has been all over the English language sumo community has been very inspiring. And there's already multiple groups that have been put together to try and send letters or, raise awareness, things like that. Just the response from the community, that is acting as a backlash to the terrible response on the day has been a bit uplifting. I really want to hear more news about how he's doing and all that, but at the very least, I know that me and you guys and all of the people that we know in this community are all on the same page and are all very willing to take action. However little we can do, we all want to do it. So that I'll say that has been a bright spot on this Basho for sure.
How about you, Flirk?
I'm gonna have to go with, I think one of the matchups I'm enjoying a lot is just the Terunofuji versus Aoyama, for a lot of the reasons I mentioned during the Basho, and I would say this is probably the best one yet. So I would have to go with their matchup on day 14.
Mac?
I would say seeing Terunofuji secure his 10th win and to cement his rank back as a Yokozuna. Yeah, there we go. Ozeki. There's how high I think he could go if he were healthy. But no, to see him reclaim his Ozeki rank was outstanding.
He has his eyes set on the rope.
I did read that.
And a very strange argument that came from people disagreeing, I think, rather semantically about that on Twitter. It was an interesting read.
It's not a good look to want to be a Yokozuna.
We don't have to get into it ourselves. Okay. Maybe we leave that one to the heated argument that's already happened.
That's fine.
The gist of it is one side he's Ozeki. Why wouldn't he go for Yokozuna promotion? Why wouldn't he try to go for that? The other side is mainly he has a very limited time with his knees and he has his future health to think about. He shouldn't go all out and strive to get the Yokozuna promotion and maybe put his health kind of on the back burner in favor of the Yokozuna promotion. He should look to stay as healthy as he can, to stay in sumo as long as he can, because now we know that Terunofuji is also going for his Japanese citizenship, which takes a lot of time because he wants to stay in the JSA. So I think the people saying maybe cool your jets a little bit just kind of want to see him stay healthy for longer and not kind of put the Yokozuna run as the highest thing on his mind, but maybe try to keep his health as the highest matter in his mind for his future ability.
I don't know. Getting your name on the Yokozuna stone's pretty cool. So
yeah,
and you get don't you get 3 years being Ozeki instead of the 5 as Yokozuna to be in the JSA, or do you have to have citizenship to use that grace period?
I think you need citizenship. I'm not sure.
Does that mean his name goes twice on the Ozeki stone?
That's a good question.
2 handprints and
let's go back to Japan and see if Kaiketsu is on there twice.
Let's do it.
All right. My favorite moment of the Basho, I think we already talked about the Terunofuji thing, but seeing 2 of my favorite up-and-comers get winning records. Super impressed with Wakataka Kage getting the 10-5 and the special prize at Maegashira 2, picking up a couple wins over Ozeki. Really excited to see if he can maintain that and keep that moving forward. And then we've already talked about him plenty, but Hoshoryu, just absolutely love watching that guy and love seeing him do well. Hopefully he can keep that going forward as well. So we do have a few voicemails that we are going to play kind of at the very end of this episode. We asked people to send us in their opinions on whether or not the Yokozuna should retire. And once again, we want to shout out Casey Mustang, who sent in the first voicemail, which inspired us to put the call out there to get more voicemails on that. And so that worked. We got quite a few, a lot more than we're used to getting in our inbox at one time. So thank you, Casey Mustang, for that recommendation. So we will play those and just kind of get the opinion of the fans on what they think should be done with the Yokozuna. Obviously, we know Kakuryu has already retired, but do you think at this point should Hakuho retire? So you'll see some differing opinions at the end of the episode. And to keep the voicemail train going, like we said, we're going to have a Kakuryu episode coming up, and we want you guys to send us your Kakuryu voicemails. Mac, hit them with the number.
That number is 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
All right. So if you enjoyed this podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service. And I'm going to do this now since we're doing video on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Smash that bell. No.
Smash that bell. Or ring that bell and
Absolutely
smash the subscribe
not.
button.
No, that is too far.
No, sir.
Do it.
I can't believe you've done this.
Yeah.
We're
I'm not
content
sure if we
creators.
can
It's what we
continue.
do.
So, should we hold an emergency meeting about Ryan beyond
Yes.
the podcast?
All right.
Yokozuna Ryan beyond
The
the podcast?
Yokozuna title's gone to his head.
Obviously.
So, like the sub YDC needs to get together about.
Yes. Get a recommendation to the
The Dark Council YDC.
We have a recommendation, a stern warning for Yokozuna Ryan to get shit together and never do that again. Anyways, let's get out. Social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Grand Sumo Breakdown.
If you want to sign our open letter to Yokozuna Ryan to demand he retires, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you also want to leave us your opinion of Yokozuna Ryan and what we think should be done with him,
Should
just
that
let us know
Yokozuna
it.
retire? Send us a
Yes.
voicemail.
Drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com.
All right, we will have our Bonds-K prediction coming out early next week. We got a couple of bonus episodes planned for between now and the Natsu Basho, and stay tuned because you're going to have an amazing, just absolutely career-defining performance from Fleric on the Natsu Basho preview episode. If a man has a month and a half to prepare a sumo-based song of a parody of a song that I chose for him, it better be damn. I want the whole music video, Fleric.
You are assuming that I'm going to work on it before the night before.
I would like that. It would be nice.
Are we going to drop
Yeah.
a teaser for what
No.
song it is, or are we going to keep that a secret?
I already did.
Oh my.
I have no idea.
I was not paying attention.
Well, I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Fleric knows.
Fine.
I do have
It is
one
known.
additional request since we have now completed our first Basho on the YouTubes. What do you guys want to see more of? Did you enjoy it? Do you like staring at our faces? Do you really? Tell us what you'd like to see on our episodes.
Is this kind of just as bad? Can we vote him off too? Or I don't know.
He's leading us down a dark trail where I'm gonna have to pass some of my crowded background over to Fleric's background or something like that.
Like, comment, and harite that subscribe button.
Oh! All right, I'm ending it. I'm putting us out of our
Yeah.
misery.
Let's play us out, voicemails. Play us out.
Play us out.
Hey everybody, Casey Mustang here. I've got a pretty hot take. I don't know how hot it is, but I'm pretty fired up about it. So here it is. I'm calling officially for the retirement of both of our Yokozunas right now. I'm tired of seeing no Yokozuna in our tournaments. I don't know if anybody's ready to be a Yokozuna, but I'm tired of going back and forth whether or not they're going to be in, going to be out. They need to be out. They need to retire. I don't care what the YDC says. The KCM YDC has spoken this, right? The KC Mustang Yokozuna Deliberation Council has met, and we are officially calling for both of them to retire. I don't think it has anything to do with their spirit. I think their bodies have officially come to the point where they can no longer perform and are failing them. So I think they should do the right thing and step away. I don't care about the Olympics. I don't care about those sort of things. They need to step away. Have a good day. I really enjoy the podcast, guys. Keep up the good work, and I can't wait to hear someone sing.
Yeah, hello. This is Josh from Vancouver, Washington. Longtime listener, first-time caller. And I'm speaking in regards to the Yokozuna situation. And one thing I think isn't brought up enough is that it doesn't really matter if they retire or not. I don't know why everybody's all emotional about it. It's not like they're keeping somebody else from taking their place. They're not really taking someone's spot up. It's, Terunofuji can still get promoted whether they're there or not. So, what does it really matter? Thanks. Hot take, huh?
Hey guys, just wanted to say, long-time listener, first-time caller, whoop whoop. As for the question about should the Yokozuna retire, my answer is most definitely yes. The way I see it, if you don't wrestle, you're not on the Banzuke, right? And I get that the Yokozuna have that leniency, they can go Kyujo, not lose their rank, but for how many months is that acceptable, right? How long has it been since we've seen two Yokozuna face off? I can't remember. As for the Takakeisho adjectives, I'd use rotund. Totally realize that's just another way to say round. Still applicable. Have a good day.
Jay, Grand Sumo team, Blaine Henry's Fight Library. I am calling to say, yes, the two Yokozuna need to retire, but they don't need to do it now. They both deserve their spotlight. They need to have a healthy Basho. Kachikoshi or not, they need to have a healthy Basho to go out on. So maybe have Hakuho sitting out the next one as well. Hopefully Kakaru comes back and he's healthy. He gets him a Basho in and we have a goodbye Basho from Kakaru. And then Hakuho comes around. He competes in the Basho. He does the Olympics like his dream has been. And we wave goodbye off into the sunset for Hakuho as well. Anyways, guys, I've been enjoying the shows, especially that one with that one MMA guy. He was pretty cool. Love you guys. Later.
Hello, this is Josh Luce, and I'm calling. I think that the Yokozuna have reached the end of their run on this one. As great as Hakuho is, I think I don't want to see his legacy get tarnished. And Kakaru, he just kind of got a bad draw being in Hakuho's shadow the whole time. But I think they're both starting to break down, and I don't want to see their legacies get tarnished. And selfishly, that's going to open up a spot for the history that you're seeing started now with Akisayama's Yokozuna run. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time,
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.
Hi, it's the Moon Rules from Twitter. At this point, both Yokozuna have their futures with the Sumo World guaranteed. They don't have to keep competing. So as far as I'm concerned, every collision of heads, pulled or torn muscle, sprained joint, is more likely to erode their future quality of life than have any meaningful impact on their present circumstances. So if not for your own sakes, Yokozuna, then for the sakes of your families, cut the hair, start your careers as elders. Walk out of the ring before you have to be, well, I was going to say stretchered out of the ring, but we all know that they would just make them walk out anyways and then give them a Band-Aid and make them walk back to the medical facilities. Anyway, that's my opinion. Cut the hair, preserve your future quality of life. Thanks. Bye.
I personally think that both Yokozuna should not retire yet, because I want to see them beat down the younger guys and, well, I don't know, call the pack a little bit, like mark a transition. Let's say I want I want them in, if only just for that reason. Okay, goodbye. Thank you for everything. GSD, guys.